everyone.
Hi there.
Ooh, today is a really good episode.
Fantastic.
And we know that because we already recorded the episode.
We've had a little technical difficulties, so we're re-recording our intro so that you know who we are.
So just so you know, you're in for a wild 24 minutes. I'm Jena and Marcy. I'm a couples therapist and a happiness coach.
And I'm Dr. Saira. I'm a transpersonal psychotherapist.
And today, and
the co-founders of the Get Happy Club.
It's the best club in the entire world.
And we're calling you from there right now.
Yes, we're in the Get Happy Hub.
We're in it.
You can tell because of the pink wall. That's the giveaway.
We love our wall.
So you should really come join us on a Thursday evening in Surrey, BC. You will not regret it. It is so much fun. It's like the best part of my week, hands down. Yeah.
So if you're interested, send us a note. We can give you details.
Yes.
Today's episode is called
Today is your day to face your fears. Yeah, we are facing all kinds of fears today. You're going to leave this episode, you're going to be like, fear? What's that? Anyway, yeah, so some people do just pretend like they have no fears. But what we're talking about is legitimately feeling as though life is only going to get better and better and you have nothing left to fear. That's what we mean by facing your fears. So how do we get to that point?
Right. So I think one of the things is being honest with ourselves about what we are fearful about, right? Because rather than being that posturing of, everything's fine, but to actually admit, like, yeah, I am actually sometimes afraid that, nobody really likes me, or I'm sometimes afraid that
I'm making the wrong decision.
Yeah, or that, like, my spouse will die.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's one of mine. That's, like, used to really be a big thing. And if I just pretended like I didn't really think that, I'd be doing all these kind of crazy behaviors that are demonstrating my fear, but my spouse was like I'd be like calling him like every 3-4 times a day at work, and he's just like, what is wrong with you? Why do you keep calling me? And I'm like, nothing, just to check on you to make sure you're not dead. But I wouldn't say that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like those behaviors were like, weird and disjointed, and because I wasn't really admitting what was really going on for me, because to admit to myself that some part of me was worried that he would leave me through dying, like, that seems crazy, right? Like, that seems a bit ridiculous. And, I mean, you can't stop it even if it happens. So,
right.
But then, I mean, when I finally admitted it to myself, then I could actually move through it.
Right. And then there are some people that just are fearing everything. Like, they feel like everything is a struggle. They have lots of anxiety. And so to go through their list of fears might be kind of overwhelming.
Yeah,
because there's a lot
then.
going on,
yeah.
Right? So if you have like one big fear, definitely talk about it, think about it, get a close friend who is a part of the Get Happy Club who can help you through and talk about your fears, but talk about it in a way that you know that it's something that you want to move through. Because I think when you recognize how much your fears actually hold you back, the appeal of the fear goes away. It can sometimes feel kind of good to be scared of something because it allows us to not fully commit to our lives, right? Like, if I'm scared of this thing, then I don't have to really put all my effort in. If I'm scared that I'm going to fail, then I don't ever have to try,
Oh, I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So.
Ooh, that's a good one, Jena. Think about that in your own life, right?
Yeah.
Where have you actually been unknowingly holding yourself back, using the fear as, like, really legitimate reason why you don't have to actually step into your life and do what is the next step for you.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah. So in that case, if you're really thinking that you're ready to move through it and you're ready to not be scared anymore, then it becomes about like the daily activity of calming yourself down when you start to get that anxiety. And it's just like for me, what I do is I think about a phrase that really helps me. So for me, my phrase is, things are working out for me. And at first I didn't believe that phrase. But the more I said it, the more I started to believe it. It's a type of thing that you're not really used to telling yourself, because in our society, we kind of catastrophize things. Like, you have to prepare for the worst. Yep. Make sure that you know what could go wrong so that you can really get in front of it. And what we're telling you is, do not prepare for the worst. Just assume that the best is going to happen. When you assume that the best is going to happen, then even when something bad happens, you know that something better is following it.
Right.
You break up with someone, you know that someone better is going to come along. You lose out on something. You know that it's only to make space for something that's better. But you have to believe that first. And a great way to start believing it is to start talking yourself into it every day. And you'll start to notice that your life will actually reflect your dominant belief.
So, I am a member of my PAC, right? My Parent Advisory Committee at the school that my kids go to. And my project for this year is emergency preparedness.
Oh, God.
So what we had to do was we had to go into all the classrooms and say, okay, do you have a first aid kit? Do you have water? Do you have this or that? And so what they had in the classrooms are these giant rolling suitcases with 24 water bottles and some wet wipes. I don't know if someone's bleeding or something, I guess, and a flashlight, really bare bones kind of stuff with this giant rolling suitcase because those 24 water bottles are really heavy.
Yeah.
So the teachers are not using them because they're sitting in the classroom and no one's going to roll out 24 water bottles in the case of an emergency. You're going to get your kids out. And so the person who I was working with, the other mom who volunteered, we decided to go with backpacks, right? We're let's have a little backpack with a little first aid kit, a few granola bars and other things, so you can just put on the backpack and run away, with your kids, with the kids. And the teachers loved it. The parents loved it. And then we decided to have, in the school storage, outdoor storage, a big,
case of water and stuff.
The big case of water, and in the classroom, little jugs of water. And so when we were developing this, I really thought about, where do we focus and where do we put our priority? And rather than thinking, okay, if there's an earthquake, an earthquake could happen. But what if there's a field trip? Field trips happen all the time. And they're not catastrophes, but what would be useful to a teacher in an emergency kit on a field trip?
Yeah.
Right? And so then we have our disaster, emergency, earthquake stuff in the big container, and each teacher has a backpack that she could take on a field trip, she or he could take, right? So it's, even in those cases of emergency, there's ways of doing it that lighten it up, make it more fun, and not be what if the earth was to end today? How would we survive for 4 days? I was what if we were just out, at the park? How if someone needed a Band-Aid? Could we do that?
Yeah, because even when you just said earthquake, whole body was what's an earthquake? Because we've been preparing for that since I moved here when I was 14, and ever since then I've heard about this big earthquake that's coming in. It's terrifying.
It's coming. In the next 500 years. We're we know it's coming in the next 500 years. And so our entire lives, we're it's coming in the next 500 years.
Yeah. And it's such a horrible way to live. Just waiting for the worst thing in the world to happen. When you could just be enjoying what's happening right now. Our fears are a way of not enjoying the present moment.
Right.
It's a way of getting out of ourselves
yeah.
and not really living.
And just kind of living in the future, in some unknown future that may or may not actually happen.
Yeah. And usually people that fear a lot also tend to worry a lot. When I'm in a state of fear, I'm also thinking about the past. I'm also thinking about all the other stuff that went wrong. Because when you're thinking about something, thoughts will come to it. So if you're thinking about what could potentially go wrong, most likely you're going to start thinking about what's already gone wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're thinking about what could potentially go right, you'll also start thinking about what has already gone right.
Mm-hmm.
And it just totally gears your mind in a new direction. And whatever you think about, you bring about. So honestly, if you're fearing stuff, Abraham said this the other day, if you're fearing something, you should be scared.
Because it's coming to you.
So if you could imagine your life with no fears, instead of fears, there's just hope, what would be different for you?
What would be different?
So for me, I would, be way more enthusiastic about everything. Every day would be an adventure. I wouldn't wake up wondering if I'm going to be fighting with someone. I'd wake up thinking, what amazing adventures can I have today? What good conversations can I have today? And I would be, a lot more in the present moment if I wasn't fearing stuff. I would just be, enjoying myself. How cool would that be?
And I think if I didn't have fear, I'd take more risks. And I'd do more things that were maybe considered, rebellious or, naughty or bad. Because I'm kind of a goody-goody. Those of you who know me, that's kind of was my persona growing up. I always did the right thing and followed the rules. And I think if I wasn't afraid, I would just do more stuff that was fun and, kind of, out of the lines. Coloring it. Maybe getting a tattoo.
Ooh.
Some secrets to come in the future, possibly. Or things like we're going tubing next weekend. I've never done that before. I think it's basically tobogganing for grown-ups. And you get in a tube and you go down the snow. I've never done it before. And because the old me would be oh my gosh, that's too dangerous. I could break a hip or something could go wrong or I could crash it. But my brother's having his birthday party and we're just going to go tubing.
Wow.
So I think I'm
awesome.
already starting to kind of live that life of, like, what if I wasn't afraid of what people will say or what people will think, or of making a huge mistake that I can't come back from.
Mm-hmm. I've started to live that life a little bit too, because I'm taking on more speaking opportunities, which scares the crap out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And like before the speaking opportunity, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. And I always just think I could just run away. Like I could just run away. No one would really miss me that much.
I could just run away.
Because I'd rather run away than potentially mess up in a public forum. Like, how stupid is that?
You're not alone. I think that's like the number 2 or the number 1 like fear that people have is public speaking.
Yeah. But then when you do it, it feels so fun. It feels so good.
And empowering. And everybody's clapping because you love the clap.
I don't mind the clap. I don't mind the clap.
That's another show for another time.
You should be scared of the clap. But sometimes I do mess up. Like sometimes even just, we had some like church functions this past week, and I found that I would be talking to a group of people and I would just kind of like stumble over my words and I'd be so embarrassed.
Really?
And I'd have to talk myself down and be like, it's okay, they probably didn't even notice. That stuff just happens. But when you know that things are working out for the best, that becomes the overwhelming focus. It's just like, it's okay if I messed up because things are working out for the best. And they probably won't even remember anyway. It kind of gives you an out.
And it makes you human, too.
Yeah.
Right? Like, making a mistake. Okay, so the last couple of times I've given a talk, I've cried on the podium. Like, tears. Like, tears. Here we are talking about happiness. I'm freaking crying on the podium, right? But what I've noticed is it makes me human. It makes me accessible. And not like it's like I'm putting it on and acting. It's actually just, oh, wow, here's this person who's getting... having a feeling, and it's okay, and it's normal to have a feeling. And I had to, like, the first time it happened, remember at that first workshop, I was, like, so embarrassed, and it was, like, a big, like, remember?
Yeah.
But then Jena and our other friends were just like, you know what? Like, you're real. You really felt something in that moment. And
it opened everyone else up, too.
And our business meeting that we just had a couple of days ago, I was, like, so emotional. I was, like, on the verge of tears before we started, and I stayed there. And in the past, I'd be like, I'd feel afraid to be not taken seriously.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if I'm just going to burst into crying, people are going to be like, oh, God, here she goes again with her big feelings. But now I'm realizing, like, that's who I am. And if people judge me for it, okay, that's their stuff. It's not my stuff.
And emotions, I think that people are scared of emotions because they don't really understand them. And also it's like a female thing. So, like, our society has made it seem like it's awful because every female thing is, like, a horrible thing in our society. But you know what? Emotions, I'm learning, are the biggest tool you will ever have in your life. Emotions tell you how things are going for you, how things are going to go for you in the future.
Right.
Okay, so if you think of right now as your jumping off point, if you're thinking about, let's say, a big project or doing some new adventure, and if you feel excited about it, you're on the right track. If you feel scared, that means that you're maybe being too specific. Maybe you're not quite ready for that. So take it back until it feels exciting again. Emotions basically guide your life. If you allow yourself to feel fearful forever, then you're never going to really let yourself live. But if you're allowing yourself to feel excited and to not be scared of that excitement, good things are going to come to you because that excitement actually draws in good things. That is the law of attraction. It's about emotions. It's not just about thoughts. In fact, it's very little about thoughts. It's more about emotions.
Right.
How you're feeling when you're thinking the things that you're thinking.
And the fear, like, we were just listening to Abraham Hicks talk about fear. So if you're interested in the law of attraction and this type of teaching, there's lots of stuff you can get on YouTube. You can just, like, look
Google
up
Abraham
law of attraction, and lots of different clips. Awesome. And share with us, like, if that's making sense to you, if you have questions, we'd love to unpack some of that with you. But what she was talking about is that when you're in the moment having an unhappy thought or a fearful thought, you're actually missing the moment.
Yes.
Right? Because your mind is, like, having some thought about some future thing that hasn't happened yet. And this particular moment right now is just passing. The entire weekend kind of passed with me stressing out about this business meeting we were going to have.
Yeah, and it ended up being totally fun.
And it was like a 3-minute meeting. Yeah. Like, it was so easy.
It was great.
And I was like, and the only time that I wasn't thinking about it actually was when we've had these cultural celebrations over the weekend for the coming of the spring. And there was this dance thing. So there's like this circle dance and everybody dances together. And I was dancing. And from the moment the music started, till it ended. I was in that circle. And that was the only time the whole weekend that I wasn't thinking about this problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like so light and free. And so what I realized now for the rest of my life is that dancing helps me disconnect from my problem mind, my problem finding mind. And so
you're just in the moment. You have
to. In the moment. If I'm in a Zumba class and if I'm starting to now think about something else, I'll miss it. Like I'll be like, ooh, and then like people are crashing into me and stuff. So I've found something that works for me, which is dancing, which I do on a regular basis to kind of remind me to stay in this particular moment. Plus, it's a lot of fun and I get a good workout.
So if you were to go back to that weekend where you had something kind of scary or fearful coming up, what would you do differently other than the dancing? What would you do with your mind?
I think this is what I tried and kind of worked, but I think I would probably do this more, was visualizing the best case scenario. And so in my best case scenario, we were actually paying less money than we expected to pay, which is kind of what happened. In my best case scenario, I'm like, the other person would be like, oops, I made a mistake, bank error in your favor, here's some money back, you can pay me less. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's never going to happen, but that's my best case scenario.
Cool, so that worked.
So that totally worked.
So she visualized. What I did is I kept on reassuring myself, and actually Elvis helped because he was like really reassuring me, that even if this didn't work out, something better would. It's either this or something better. So I just kept on reminding myself that things weren't going to happen. They were going to work out for the best. And sometimes because we can't see all of the things that are happening in our lives for us, sometimes something seems really bad, and actually it's a really, 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 really good thing. Mm-hmm. And so if we can keep in mind that it's just going to keep getting better as long as we're feeling good, then it takes the pressure off of having to control all of the little things that go on in your life. Having to control, like if we had to control this business meeting, it wouldn't have worked because we wanted very specific things. Yeah. And if we had stood our ground and said, this is what we want and that's it, we'd be out of here, right? But we were able to relax and know that whatever happened is happening for our best, for our higher good. Mm-hmm. So we let it happen and it was fine.
Right.
There's that phrase that Abraham always says that the meek will take over the world. You don't have to fight so hard for everything that you want. All you have to do is relax and know that good things are coming to you. Know. And it seems so, when you're not in a space of feeling good, it seems ridiculous to say, oh, you just like know that good things are coming for you. Like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But when you see it in action, when you try it and see it for yourself, it's like the most natural thing in the world. Now I never try to make stuff happen because I know that I can never action my way to something good. I can only allow good things to happen by relaxing and feeling good no matter what.
And what's happening for me lately is like my body's totally getting on board with this. So yesterday I had like a big chunk of time, like 3 hours. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, in those 3 hours, I am going to write this contract, get these chairs moved in, do this, do this, do this. And I had all these thoughts, right? And I was driving home and suddenly I got so tired. Like it just felt like so much work, right? I was like, oh God. And I got home and I like curled up on my couch with my blanket and slept for 3 hours.
And yet, the chairs got moved in.
Like, all that stuff's gonna get done. Yeah. But it didn't have to get done, like, with this pressure, right? Of, like, oh, you have to do it in this particular... It's like, no, this is not the right timing.
Yeah, and you learn to listen to your body, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I only do stuff when it feels like the right timing, which drives people in my family crazy because, like, they have a list of things I need to do for the wedding and all that other stuff, and I'm like, I'll get to it when I get to it.
Even things like getting out of the car.
It's done.
Right? Like, you park...
Yeah.
And like getting out of the car, I used to be like rushing. I'm like, let me sit here for a minute.
Yeah.
Think about what I'm doing next. Take a minute. Breathe.
Yeah.
Check something on my phone. Okay, now I'm ready to get out of the car. Like it's slowing our life down a little bit and letting it be more relaxed.
You know, a few years ago, if I had watched us, I would have like exited out and been like, these chicks do not know what they're talking about. Because I was in the state of mind where I thought that I had to make things happen. I was very proud of myself for making things happen. I was like, oh, I am an ambitious woman. I'm going to make my business happen. But my business didn't end up taking off until I relaxed. It was like 2 years of hard work. And then suddenly I just relaxed and it was like, oh.
Right.
How did that happen?
And you know, I often hear people saying, you know, I don't want a job that feels hard and I don't want a job that feels like work. And I used to hear them and think, oh, geez, these people are dreamers. Like, as if you're going to have a job that you enjoy, right? Like, who gets to do that? Like, artists, but then they're broke all the time. Maybe actors, they're always looking for the next gig. Like, nobody has that. And now I know I was wrong. I was totally wrong because I'm meeting more and more people who are making a really, really, like, generous living doing things that they really enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And I think this is the time, like with the technology we have, with the learning that we have around the law of attraction, with all of like people around the world coming together and wanting things from each other internationally, this is the time when you can actually do what you're passionate about and make really good money doing it too. Like we are.
Yeah.
It's like really cool.
It's fun. It's so fun looking forward to your entire day.
Yeah.
And like not having specks of it that you just don't want to do. Like not having to say, oh, well, let me just get through this 8 hours of work and then maybe I'll go out for a drink and I'll have fun.
Right.
This is like when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, ooh, I get to have a phone meeting and then I get to see Saira.
If you can face that fear, if you can say, yes, there's a fear, I'm going to face it, I'm going to do what I want to do anyway and just relax a bit and not try to control everything, your life will just, it'll start, the momentum will start, and it'll start rolling in the direction that you're meant to.
So what are our main takeaways? Okay, mine was to think of a phrase that makes you feel really good and just start repeating it. Even if you don't quite buy into it yet, just use it as an experiment. Repeat it to yourself every single time you start to get stressed out for a couple of days and see what happens. I would give it like 5 days.
For me, just remember the UPS guy story, okay? It's all in your mind. It's all in your mind. So stop freaking out. Calm down. Be the roommate in the bathrobe that just comes and opens the door, and it's all okay.
Just chill
Be
out
that
a
person.
little. Yeah. And take it from us, when you learn how to relax and just enjoy life, life will give you more to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way it works.
Totally is.
Yeah.
So that's it. Okay, so now, you know about our Get Happy Club, hopefully. It's every Thursday at 6:30, and we are in Surrey, BC. So if you can't be here in person and you want to join our online community, send us a note because we would love to join, connect you there. And what else?
Watch out for our Facebook Lives.
Mm-hmm.
They come out about once a week. They're really fun. That's like my favorite thing to do is
I
Facebook
know,
Live.
totally.
It used to be really intimidating because the whole public speaking thing, but it's really fun.
Should we post? Should we post? Just press post. It'll be all right.
And what else? Oh yeah, watch our YouTube show. Binge watch all the rest of them. If this is your first one, I think this is episode like 42 or 43 or something.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of content out there.
Share. So if there's people in your life who are like facing a lot of fears and finding that it's difficult to like move forward with their dreams because they're blocked, share this with them. As many people as we can get the news out to and the ideas, the better.
And we will see you soon.
Today's your day.
Bye.